Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Sam or Xtraws, and today I'm bringing you guys a team deathmatch gameplay on the map Hanoi, and as you can see, I'm going to be using the gold commando with an infrared scope. So this definitely is not a conventional class, and I certainly wouldn't recommend it to anyone out there looking for a good creative class setup or a good attachment for the commando. But honestly, I decided to use it because I thought you guys would find it a bit entertaining to see me try and do well with the infrared scope. I actually ended up with a pretty good gameplay here, but I can't lie to you guys, I actually took a very long time to get this gameplay, and I ended up rage quitting a couple times in the process. So it was not easy to do this, but this is what I ended up with. So anyway, while doing this, while using the infrared scope, which I again decided to use on an assault rifle, I kind of thought it'd be taking the easy way out to try and do it on a sniper rifle. I sort of found it, and this is just for me maybe, but I just found that playing with the infrared scope on an assault rifle almost created like a new class of weapon. I couldn't really play it like I normally play an assault rifle, and I couldn't play it like I would play a sniper rifle. I had this healthy middle ground in between those two, where I had to play this weapon not as aggressively as I would with an assault rifle, not as defensively as I would with a light machine gun. And trust me, guys, I'm getting somewhere with this, hopefully somewhere good. And anyway, so what I really kind of discovered is that I have to change a really big part about the way that I play Call of Duty if I use the infrared scope on the on any assault rifle, really. And that big part that I have to change is I can't start shooting until I actually have the enemy pretty much right in the center of my scope. Now obviously I can hip fire when they're close, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about when I'm looking down the sights. I can't start shooting until they are pretty much right in my my crosshair, if that's what it's called, because of the fact that while you have to take all that time to zoom in, you need to be able to be accurate, and this isn't always the case when you're just using an assault rifle. So I don't know if I've ever talked about this before, but the way I play with an assault rifle, with an SMG, with a light machine gun, is I do not wait for the person to be in the center of my iron sights or red dot sight, whatever, to start shooting. If you actually go back and look at my gameplay, I start shooting as soon as I have that enemy in the middle 10, maybe middle like 15% of my screen. Actually, it might be a little bit more than that, but when they're near the center of my screen, I just start shooting as I'm aiming down the sights. And what you'll notice is that a lot of times I can connect bullets to the enemy a lot quicker because of it. And when I say a lot quicker, I'm talking about fractions of a second. But honestly, that's what makes the difference in, like, I'm gonna say 50% of gunfights maybe. When you and another person are shooting at each other, it is milliseconds making the difference as to who wins or loses that gunfight. So this is actually a really important thing. You really should shoot before you actually have the enemy in your crosshairs, in your red dot sight, in your iron sight, whatever. And a lot of people might misconstrue this or confuse this with being inaccurate, and that's kind of what I wanted to address right now. A lot of people have talked to me before or addressed the fact that I have a really low accuracy, and I've said many times before, I do not pride myself on accuracy. However, I say something else that a lot of people again misconstrued for being a little bit hypocritical, and that other thing that I say is have low sensitivity because it allows you to be more accurate. And the two things are a little bit different. And really what I found is that the low accuracy thing is great because it allows you to make precision movements when you need to and lock onto enemies when you need to. However, this discussion I'm having with you guys right now about accuracy is really that it isn't about whether or not you can, it's whether or not you do. And I think a lot of the times the difference between a low accuracy and a high accuracy, regardless of how good the player is not whether or not that person can lock onto a person, it's whether or not they choose to. And a lot of people might think that that's some sort of excuse, that people don't choose to be inaccurate. I myself choose to be inaccurate. I choose to start shooting before I have the enemy like right in my crosshairs to start shooting, because I know that there is a chance that in between the time that I actually do start shooting and would have started shooting if I waited to get that person in the center of my screen, I might hit one if not two bullets. And if you think about it, that is those milliseconds, that constitutes for those milliseconds that make up a huge difference in deciding who actually wins a gunfight. So guys, if you don't take anything else away from this gameplay, just remember this. If you're somebody out there who prides himself on accuracy, if you're someone out there who thinks that you should wait until the enemy is right in your sights to start shooting, shooting, please try and move away from that mentality. That mentality isn't going to help your kill death ratio and isn't going to make you a better player. That number, that accuracy number, honestly means nothing for 99% of players out there. Really, you should be worrying about killing the enemy, not about your accuracy. So anyway, that's just about it that I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to address one other thing. Lately, a lot of people have been asking me about my combat record, and this is not really related to the accuracy thing, but I guess it is. Guys, the thing about my combat record is I think I have like 3 or 4 things I want to mention here. Number one, I used to have a decent combat record, and there's a video of it up on YouTube from a long time ago when I actually used to, play Call of Duty a lot, and I was ranking up, and I kind of cared about my statistics on my combat record, and I'll leave a link to that video in the description of this video. You can go check that out. But as far as my combat record now, it is terrible. I'm telling you right now, it is pretty awful. My KD has dropped by at least a whole point. It's down to like 2.5, and I leave games a lot now. I rage quit a lot, and my my win-loss is like below 1 for sure. I don't know what it is. I haven't looked at it in forever. But honestly, guys, if you want to check out my stats, I'm not going to make a video about it now. You can check it out if you just send me a chat invite on Xbox, and